Hello and welcome to the Wrike Getting Started webinar. My name is Eric Thyberg and I'm a Customer Success Manager here at our sunny San Diego office. I work extensively with our teams that have a business or enterprise level subscription to Wrike, and I assist with team trainings, onboarding, answering general questions, and really just making sure that our teams are getting the most out of their Wrike subscription. The first question we're going to tackle today is, what is Wrike? Wrike is a work collaboration and project management solution that allows teams to work together more effectively regardless of geographic location or size. With Wrike's intuitive interface and thoughtful workflow design, you'll have the ability to keep everyone organized with a clear and simple work script. You'll be able to improve collaboration across teams with a central, cloud-based hub and increased visibility and accountability with a nice 10,000 foot level view of all the things you guys are currently working on. And with Wrike, you'll be in good company. We currently have over 12,000 paid customers and over 2 million active users. The Wrike community ranges from the large logos you see on this page to small mom and pop shops. So just about anyone can use Wrike regardless of size. So why Wrike? Well, it turns out work collaboration is trickier than it seems. What starts as a small project can avalanche into a mountain of tasks, emails, spreadsheets, meetings, frustrated team members with no proper way to report on work progress. If any of this sounds familiar to you, you're not alone. Let's take a look at how Wrike has helped teams become productivity ninjas and out-collaborate. I'm going to be going over the key features and functionality of the platform today in order to give you a full overview of how successful teams utilize Wrike. So let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm going to be working on a webinar refresh project, and we're going to kind of start this from the beginning and we'll move through all the way to the end. The way this might start for a lot of teams in Wrike is through the creation of a request. I'm going to go up here and hit the plus button. We're going to click on the request button. Let's go ahead and do the incoming project request. We're going to call this webinar refresh. We need a new one, old one. Old one is outdated. We need this one by, let's say, the end of the month. This is related to our sales/marketing team. And we'll go ahead and put this as a medium priority. Once we hit submit, a task is automatically created. We've already decided who this task is going to be assigned to. You can see it's assigned to my colleague, Matt. We can see the description all laid out here within the task itself. And we can go ahead and mark this as approved. And now Matt, or that traffic manager, whoever's responsible for that, can go in here and find our webinar refresh template. They can click on it. And they'll go ahead and right click and click duplicate. So we're going to call this webinar refresh. We'll add a more descriptive title here because we're doing this in September of 2016. We'll select where this is going to go. This is going to go into our Intro to Wrike webinar folder. And then we can actually choose what data we want to carry over. So we can copy over the tasks. That's important. We already have those task names laid out. We can copy descriptions, attachments, assignees, custom field values, or we can reschedule it. Let's go ahead and reschedule this for sometime in September here. Let's go ahead and start this project tomorrow. We'll hit duplicate. And now if we go into our webinars folder here, go ahead and collapse our templates folder. We now have our webinar refresh project. We can click here and see our project page. And this is basically the very beginning of how we would start work within Wrike. So I'm going to go over what we're looking at here just to give you guys a little bit more of an idea of how this all works. Wrike is really only made up of three things, and those three things are folders, projects, and tasks. On the left side here, you can see all of our folders neatly laid out. We can have subfolders, as you can see right here with our Intro to Wrike webinar refresh folder. And then we have our project listed right here. And the way we know we have a project is we see this little clipboard icon right here. We can see it right here and right here as well. We use projects in Wrike when we have a set start date, a set finish date, and ultimately an end deliverable that we're working towards. Whereas a folder, as you can see over here, is more so going to be used for the sorting and organizing of our work. And then obviously the tasks that we have built out here are going to be the actual body of work. They're going to be the things that we do and assign to different individuals to complete in order to ultimately complete this project that we see right here. Over here on the left sidebar, we can see this is our navigation panel. All of our folders are neatly laid out. We currently have this sorted by our different departments, so this just adds some clarity. We know where we're supposed to go if we're on a different team. We can very easily share these folders with different groups by just right-clicking on the folder itself, clicking share, and choosing which teams we want to share this with. So we want to get our designing team, involved with this, or we could get our project managers involved in this. Any of the different teams we may be looking to add to this, we can then select those different individuals, click save. We have our customer success team actually shared on this webinar, as they are the ones who usually do it. And now that's shared with them. That's a key thing to remember in Wrike, is that sharing equals visibility. If you do not share a project or folder with somebody or a task, they will not see it. They will have no idea that it exists. So it's a very key fundamental of the tool here. Before I move on with our projects here and talk a little bit more about what we're seeing, I'm going to cover a couple other things. First of all is going to be the My Work section. This My Work section is actually going to be the first place that you're brought to when you log into Wrike. And this is going to act kind of as a daily to-do list. We have things that are located in our incoming folder, our today folder, and then our later on folder here. I use this for personal task management in addition to my work task management as well. So you can see we're already talking about delivering a new webinar. I can click on this task and I can see what this is about and the different conversations that we may be having at any given time between our team. And so if we jump back to our webinar here, we can go ahead and start talking a little more about this project itself. So now that we have our project built out, we have our start date and our finish date set up, we need to make sure we actually assign this work out to different people. So let's go ahead and start here by clicking on the script. We can choose from our list of users here. Taylor Swift's pretty good at writing scripts and writing music, so we'll go ahead and choose her. Building slides, Elon's good at building things, we'll pick him. Recording, well, Beyonce's pretty good at recording things, we'll pick her. This will let us know when we are using an external user. We do have 3 different user types within Wrike. We have regular users, external users, and collaborators, and they all have different varying levels of permissions within the tool. So always nice to be reminded when we are currently assigning a task or project to an individual that may not have full capabilities within inside the tool. So we'll go ahead and choose somebody else here instead of Beyonce in this case. Let's go ahead and pick Flavor Flav. And then we'll need to ultimately launch this to our website. So let's go ahead and pick Arnold Schwarzenegger for that one. So there you have it. We have our tasks laid out. We have the different dates associated with them. We can click on it. We can see the durations of these dates. And we have these all neatly laid out and assigned, ultimately leading to our launch, which is going to be this single date here. And yeah, we're ready to go. Now I'm going to click on our task here. And we can take a look at the task pane. This is going to be really where people are going to spend 90% of their time within the tool, within this window right here. So I'm going to briefly cover the different things, the important things that we're seeing here within the task. First of all, we have our task title. We can assign its importance between high, normal, and low. We have the concept of custom workflows within Wrike. If we click here, these are the different workflows or statuses that we can append to our work. So this is just the default one that we currently have set up. We have some really great examples of review workflows, marketing reviews, product development, and so on and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and leave this in the default workflow, and we're just going to put this in the assigned state as we've currently picked somebody who's going to go ahead and write this script. We can move on to our slides template here, and we can take a look at what we're working on inside this one. So now that we have this is currently the new. This one's currently assigned as well. Elon's working on it. Let's go ahead and put it that it's in progress. We can see that Elon is the one who's currently assigned to this task. We can add multiple assignees to our tasks if need be by just clicking on them here. We can also remove them by just clicking the X. So now that Elon's got this, we're good to go. Now, just because Elon is marked as the assignee on this task, there may be other people who are not assignees on this task that want to keep tabs on what is going on and keep tabs on the status of this work. Well, a great way to do that is by being a follower. As you can see here, we have a little radar icon, and this is our following button. If I click on it, you'll see it says that you are currently following this task. I'm Eric, and the reason I'm following this is that I actually built the tasks, and Elon is currently following it as he is the assignee. So we are by default followers of this task. We can also choose other individuals we want to follow this task. And really what following is in Wrike is that it is the action component in sharing. As I mentioned earlier, sharing equals visibility. Following equals visibility plus action in that you will receive notifications. So if we want to make sure that Brian Williams is kept up to date on this task and he receives notifications on any of the description changes, status changes, due date changes, when it's marked complete, or any of the conversation we're having around this task, Brian, being a follower, is going to provide him with all of those notifications. Those notifications are going to come a few different ways. Number one, they may come in the inbox. So if we click on this here, we can see what these inbox notifications look like. You can see we're talking about our webinar here. I was at mentioned, so this popped up in the Wrike inbox. The other places those notifications may go are to our email based on email notification settings, and they may go via push notification to your mobile device if you have the Wrike app installed on your phone. So following is definitely a very, very key component to staying in the loop on the work that's being done within the tool here. Moving along, as I showed you guys earlier, we can set our due dates for our tasks. We have the concept of time tracking within Wrike, and really all this does is it's kind of like a stopwatch. If I hit the play button, it'll start to record time. As soon as I hit pause, it'll stop. I can go in here and manually enter time. So if I work for 3 hours and 20 minutes, or 3 hours and 20 minutes, I built new slides. We can then click add entry. We'll see the cumulative sum of time that we spent on this task listed here, and we'll see that note that we appended right down here below in addition to the time itself. A really great way of breaking apart our tasks is by using subtasks. If we have a lot of different people we need to collaborate on a single task and assign different portions of that to them, then building subtasks is a great way of doing it. Subtasks have the exact same properties as parent tasks. Very easy to use. We just click on it here and we can enter our task title and we're good to go. And we can assign those to those different individuals. We also have the ability to attach files within Wrike. Wrike can be used sort of as a document repository, if you will. What's really nice about this is that this eliminates the need to go searching through email, other third-party document repositories and different places trying to find these files. We can keep all of the relevant files directly within the project or directly within the task, and we can find them very, very easily at any time. We can attach files from OneDrive, Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, or our computer. I'm going to go ahead and attach a sample file just to show you guys what this looks like. I'll attach an image file. So we'll go here. Let's go ahead and find our folder we're looking for. And this image will do. Once we attach the image, we'll see a little preview of it right here. We'll also see a preview down here and a thumbnail up here. If we click on the image, it'll open up. And we can see the image itself. That's a picture of me and my dog, Boulder. He's a 2-year-old Alaskan Malamute, and that was when he was still just a puppy. He was actually just 9 months old at that time. What's really cool about this is that in Wrike, we can actually open up image files, Adobe files, Microsoft Office files. We can edit them in their native applications. And once we save and close, those new and updated versions will push right back into Wrike. And so if I went ahead and made revisions to this file over time, we would see all of the different revisions listed over here on the left side. And it would always keep the newest and most recent version up to date and at the top. So if versioning or making changes over time on different pieces of collateral assets are important to you, Wrike is a really great way, really great place to do that without losing any of those older versions. We also have the concept of proofing and approvals here as well. So if I right click on my file and I choose to add to review, I can now go in here and I can add specific people to go here and review this file. If I wanted Arnold to review it, let's say I want Beyonce to review it as well. They are now assignees on the review process for this, and they can go in here and basically give their stamp of approval that this looks okay, that this image is good to be used, or that this PDF or image file is okay. Moving on here, we have the ability to add dependencies between our tasks. I'm going to show you guys a little bit more how to do that in our Gantt chart view a little bit further down the line. And then we can see who this is currently shared with. So we can see that the task is currently shared with 2 individuals, and then it's shared with our customer success team, our executive team, and then these other individuals here as well. Next up, we have the ability to insert text and descriptions within our tasks. If I go in here and I just input just a bunch of text here, I can show you guys what this can do. We can actually, we have a full host of formatting capabilities. We can add numbered lists, bulleted lists, charts, images, checkboxes. What's also really cool about this is that if I were to go in here and accidentally delete this, let's say we had written an entire blog post or newsletter or something like that, and we're editing it in here and it accidentally gets erased, all I have to do is go to my revision history, click on the clock, drag this back, and we can see things as they changed in real time. So we can pull it back to where it was, hit restore, everything comes back just as it was. Pretty cool. All right. Moving along here, you can see this is going to be our task history that's showing right here. We're seeing all the different things we've done, whether we've done any work or attached files, different comments. We've assigned Beyonce and Arnold Schwarzenegger as reviewers to this file. This also leads me to probably one of the most understated but important features within Wrike, and that's the ability to @mention your colleagues. So if I use the @ logo here, and we @mention Michael Jordan, and say, can you look at this? And we hit enter. A few different things happen once we do this. This task would now be shared with Michael if he was not already shared on it before. Michael would receive an inbox notification linking him directly to this task. He'd receive an email notification linking him directly to this task. He can also respond directly to that email, and his response will be appended right down here below. And he'll receive a push notification on his mobile device. All 3 of those notification types will provide him all of the context that he needs to know exactly what's being asked of him and where he's being asked to do it. He doesn't need to go digging around through different chat platforms, emails, texts, things of that nature. It's all going to link him directly back here into Wrike. Very, very convenient, very, very useful. We really utilize this very extensively as a team here in Wrike as well. You can also @mention multiple individuals, or you can @mention entire teams. So if we @mention customer success, you can see there's 5 users in this group. All 5 users would then be pinged and reached via those different notification types. As I mentioned, we use this internally. My boss will go in and build the meeting agenda for our global team meeting every week. She'll list out the entire agenda in the description phase here, and then she'll go in and @mention the @CSMs, and all 13 or 14 of us will receive that notification linking us to this task. We can go in and make any changes, ask any questions, and really have kind of a conversation history all related to this task located directly within the task or project. Really, really useful stuff, and it's really nice to have all of that communication and all of that context located here in one spot. Going back to our middle pane here, we're looking at our task list. This isn't really relevant when we just have 4 tasks in the list here, but if we have a project plan that's 100 lines long, or we're looking at a higher level folder with a lot of data, being able to filter is extremely important. We can filter by our different custom fields that I showed you guys earlier. We can filter by who these tasks are assigned to, the task types, due dates, other advanced filters available as well. But this is a really great way of being able to present just a specific amount of information on the screen here. And it's also instrumental in being able to create effective dashboards that show us the data we need to see with the click of a button. And I will be going over dashboards in just a little bit. Before I do that, I'm going to go over our different views we have at the top here. Each of them are important in their own way and really a different way of seeing the same information. The first place I'm going to start is our stream view. The stream view is really just like a Facebook news feed or Twitter feed. We're seeing all of the changes that have gone on with respect to this webinar refresh project listed here. If we went up higher in the folder hierarchy into a marketing folder or overall company folder, we would see all of the changes going on company-wide. Again, we can apply different filters for seeing everything or everything I follow or things that are specifically assigned to me. Next up is going to be our time log. If you guys remember, I inserted 3 hours and 20 minutes of time on the build slides task. We can see that I built new slides. It's the comment that I left. If we had input time on all those other tasks, we'd see those listed here, and we'd get a cumulative sum of time that we spent on the project overall listed here as well. This can be exported to Excel if we need to do any further computations or recording of this data. Next up is going to be our timeline view or Gantt chart view. As you can see, we have our project duration listed here by this green line. We're working on it from the beginning of this week until the end, almost the end of the month here. We see our tasks neatly laid out. We can see that we have a milestone event set up right here. The recording of the webinar is extremely important, and we really need to make sure we get that done so we can launch it to the website on that Monday. So this is a hard and fast deadline that we use here in Wrike, and no matter how the dependent tasks may get delayed, this will always stay here and trigger a conflicts warning if these tasks were to move overdue past this due date here if they're linked with dependencies. So as I mentioned, we can click on this, we can drag and drop. We've now connected these tasks via a finish to start dependency. Now, not only is this just a nice visual representation of the fact that this task needs to be done before we can start on this task, what's really neat is that once Taylor marks this task complete, Elon is going to receive an email and a notification letting him know that he can now start on his portion of the work. So this is a really great way to add some automation and get our tasks to communicate with each other. We can zoom in and out, not really relevant. We're looking at just one project here, but if we went up and we wanted to get a overall portfolio level view of all of the things our marketing team is working on, we can click on the marketing folder. We can then zoom out, and we can start to see all the different projects that we were working on at any given time. A lot of these have been rescheduled. So they're all over the place, but we can see all the different tasks that we're working on. Really provides us the context to get this 40,000 foot level view versus this kind of 10-foot level view where we're just looking at our specific project listed right here. Now, if I wanted to, keep my client or my boss in the loop on where we're at with this work, a really great way of doing that is by sharing my timeline. If I click on Share Timeline, we can create a snapshot of this. We can choose to hide or show our assignees. We hit share, we can copy this URL and open it up. And what we see is really a read-only version of exactly that timeline we were just looking at. The client will be able to click on these and see when it's expected to start and finish and the duration, but they can't manipulate any of this. They can't get any other data out of it. They're really just limited to this view. So this is a great way of sharing that information. Next up, I'm going to move on to our table view. This is going to be the view that's very comfortable for our friends who really like kind of working in Excel and stuff like that. We can see our tasks neatly laid out. We can add new tasks here. We can see our durations, our statuses. We can change these in real time. If I wanted to go ahead and mark this as in review, we can do that. We can see our time spent column showing the time that we've input via the time tracker, who it's assigned to. This is also where we can add in some really neat fields that we call custom fields. Whatever you're looking to keep track of and add further granularity to your tasks, custom fields is going to be a great way of doing that. So if I go in here, I can choose to show some of these or I can remove them. So I'm going to go ahead and remove our second date and allocation fields. And I'm going to go ahead and insert a priority field. I've already built this out, so I'm just going to show you what this actually does. Our priority field, I can click and we get a drop-down menu of P1, P2, or P3. I can filter by these. I can report on these. These are definitely important. We can also add, let's say, a budgetary column. We can input some numerical values here. And these are all rolling up to the top. We can see that we're getting a total sum budget for our project overall for our webinar refresh. This is a pretty expensive webinar refresh if you ask me, but yeah, we can add these data points in for the specific tasks themselves. So custom fields are a really great feature, and as I mentioned, they can be reported on. You can build dashboards on them. You can filter on them. They're a really great way of adding further detail to our tasks. The next view we're going to look at here is our workload view. This is going to be really useful for resourcing and planning. We can see all of the different tasks that we're working on at any given time. We can move these around as need be. Again, we're just looking at the project right now, so this isn't really giving us the context of how much work they actually have on their plate at any given time against the other ones. So the way we would do that is go to another higher level view in the folder structure. If we wanted to see all the stuff that our marketing team is working on, we can click on marketing and we can see it looks like they're actually pretty busy right now. We can see all the different projects they have going on. This red line represents real time. What's also neat is that we have this unassigned bucket. So we can have tasks living in this unassigned bucket, just waiting to be allocated out to people based on their availability. So we can take this task, let's say the develop campaign strategy task, and we see that Elon has time at the beginning of this week. Let's go ahead and drag this into his lane. We'll drop it. And now that task, the start date and finish date and assignee have all been updated accordingly, and this is now Elon's job to take care of this task. Moving on, I'm going to take a look at our analytics page. This just gives us some key insights into task status and things of that nature, just to give us an idea of how well we're currently working on our work. I'm going to go ahead and delete this chart, and I'll show you the different ones that we have. So we can see a little pie chart here representing all the different statuses of our tasks. If I click on this section of overdue tasks, it looks like we have 122 overdue. I hope this is not a real thing. This is obviously in our demo account, but if this was a real account, I'd be really concerned with all these overdue tasks. So if we click on this red section here, this will actually take us back to our list view and show us all of those tasks listed here. We can see all of the tasks that are currently overdue. So it's definitely a useful shortcut there. Additionally, we can add charts for performance, work progress, tasks by users, baseline charts to see our plan versus actual timelines on our tasks. I'm going to focus in a little more on our work progress chart here. We can see all of our different users and the statuses of their tasks. So it looks like Elon currently has 13 overdue tasks. We might want to check in with him and see if he's over allocated and has too much on his plate. We can also see over time all the status of our tasks and how they've changed. This is kind of like a burn up chart or a burn down chart, but it's really represented as a burn up chart. If we hover over any particular period of time, we can see all the status of those tasks in real time on that date. So as you can see here, we're trending upward. All of our tasks were becoming more and more overdue over time through January until we reached the beginning of April. Then we did a mass rescheduling and they came all the way back down, and now they've been creeping up on us here again. We can click on show all 18 users and we can see all the statuses of all 18 users' tasks. Really useful stuff, in addition to being able to add this to a dashboard. So if I click here and I click where we want to add this, let's add this to Fiverr KPIs. If we jump into that dashboard here, voila, we can see our work progress chart listed here. It's a smaller version, but we can still hover and see the status of those tasks for that particular period of time. A lot of these dashboards or widgets that I have here are kind of default widgets that we have available for my backlog, things that are assigned to me, things that are currently overdue. I've also built some custom widgets for things that are in progress this week to see here. We can see all the stuff that's being worked on. We also have our conflicts monitor. As I mentioned earlier, if we have a dependent task that's currently due or overdue outside of the duration of a milestone event, that'll flag in our conflicts monitor, and we'll see that listed here. So we can keep tabs on that. Another really helpful dashboard that I have built is my review dashboard. If you remember when I was showing you our custom workflows, we had a workflow specifically dedicated to our review cycle. And so we have those different statuses represented here. We have in progress, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, ultimately leading to an approved state. This is kind of a Kanban style board, and we can see all of the tasks that fall into those different 5 buckets. So those are all listed here. Now what's cool about this is that this isn't just a static view. We could actually, if we wanted to take the installation task here and move it into stage 2, we could click on it, drag and drop, and it would move on into the next stage, and it would update this stage here accordingly. So definitely this is something that our customers really, really love utilizing. The way we would kind of conceptualize this is, what do we want to see? What is important to you to see? If you could just click one button, have data presented to you, that's going to be a really great candidate for using dashboards here in Wrike. One of the final things that I want to cover for you guys today is our reporting suite. So if I click on reports here, I'm going to go ahead and build just a sample report for you guys that a lot of our customers like building. In this case, I think I'm going to build a report for task status. So let's go ahead and click here and give it a name. And this is where we can choose if we want to report on projects or tasks. If we wanted a project status report, we could build that, but I'm going to build on tasks right now. Next, we choose our account. So in this case, I'm currently in my Dream Team account, which is our demo account. And you'll see that our folder structure that we see over here on the left side, sorted by department, is also shown and represented over here on the left side. So if we want to focus on the entire company as a whole, or specifically on our marketing team, we can click marketing. We'll hit next, and let's go ahead and check out all of the active tasks and all of the finished tasks that are currently assigned to Arnold, Beyonce, Brian. Let's get a few others in there. Let's get Taylor, Elon, and one more here. Let's see. Let's get Oprah in there as well. It's a pretty star-studded cast. And so what we'll do is we'll click next. We'll hit table view, and we're just going to go ahead and save and view. So let's see what this looks like here. We'll go ahead and expand this out. So we have all of the active tasks and all of the finished tasks listed here, but I don't really feel like this is very readable. We can't really, it's a little difficult to see who is currently working on what. So what we can do is we can change our groupings. Let's go ahead and do this by assign to. And now we're looking at all of Elon's tasks that are completed and active, all of Arnold's, and all of Oprah's. Still, I feel like this could be more readable, so we're going to add another grouping by status. Awesome. Now what we're looking at here is we're looking at all of the active tasks assigned to Elon. We can see all of his finished tasks, all of Arnold's active, and Arnold's completed, and so on and so forth. This is now a much more readable report to see the statuses of all the work that our team is currently working on. Once we're done with this, we can distribute this internally by creating a snapshot. We can click here and we can create a snapshot and send it to the other internal members of the team. We can also export this to Excel by clicking here. Once that's in Excel, if the person who's viewing that Excel report has a Wrike account, they can click on the task here. It'll hyperlink them directly back into Wrike, just as we're doing right now. And we can see the task itself. We can make any changes. We can expand this, and we can manipulate any of our custom fields. If you remember me talking about custom fields, this is a really great example of what custom fields look like in a task. We can see we have different information for hours allocated, budgets, billable task, checkboxes, percentage complete. The sky's really the limits as far as the custom fields go. So as I mentioned earlier, we've now saved this report, and we can access it at any time. Also, if we need to make any changes, if this is presenting too much data and we want to be able to hone in on more specific data sets, we can always go in and edit the report and change those different filters that we set. Or as I mentioned, we can access it at any time. If we just jump back to our reporting suite, we now see task status. We can click on it, and there we go. The report's back. This really takes the sting out of creating daily, weekly, bi-weekly reporting. It's something we're definitely proud of here. Well, that just pretty much covers the things that I wanted to cover for you guys today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this webinar and that you guys have got a good understanding of how Wrike works and how Wrike can help you be ultra successful, ultra efficient, and as I mentioned earlier, become a productivity ninja and out collaborate. Please take note of the fact that we do have a 14-day free trial. Please check that out. We'd love to work with you. Also, please take note of the fact that we have live support dialogue down here. You can connect with our fantastic support team. And we also have our knowledge base. If I click on help, this will open up our knowledge base here. And this is a newly refreshed knowledge base that we can access. And a lot of really great tutorial videos and information on how to do different things within Wrike, how to set things up. Very, very good self-help section that you guys can access. So thank you so much for joining the webinar today. I hope you guys enjoy using the tool and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.